Many of us remember getting in trouble as a child and being disciplined by our parents. Some of us would get a good talking to, while others would get a paddle or a belt to our backsides. And some parents would tell their children, "This is going to hurt me more than it hurts you." Did you ever hear that from your parents? Join me today as we take a quick look at the Proverbs and discover how we should react when God disciplines us. Our verse today comes from Proverbs chapter 3, verse 11 through 12, and it says this: "My son, do not despise the Lord's discipline, and do not resent his rebuke, because the Lord disciplines those he loves, as a father the son he delights in." In the past, when we got disciplined by our parents or someone in authority over us, we might have reacted by feeling contempt or deep repulsion over it. We might have resented the discipline because we felt it was undeserved or unfair. But let's be honest, most of the time we probably deserved it. And let's face it, when God disciplines us, we really do deserve it. When God disciplines you, your first reaction should be to examine your own heart and your own actions. Solomon tells us in verse 11 not to despise or resent the Lord's discipline and rebuke. To despise means to reject or cast away, to not want anything to do with something. And to resent means to be grieved or disgusted, to abhor or loathe something. When we react to God's discipline in our lives by rejecting it and casting it away as something disgusting and loathsome, we are acting just like guilty children who know that they have done something wrong. And we are just trying to escape the consequences. The older we get, the wiser we become, and we begin to realize that discipline comes to help us grow. We may not like it, and it may hurt for a while, but discipline can have a reformative effect on our hearts and our lives. We also need to stop and consider who it is that's disciplining us. There have probably been times in your life that you were disciplined unjustly or unfairly by someone that had their own selfish agenda. But God has every right to discipline His children, and He's always right. Solomon does not say to accept any discipline from just anybody, but we should willingly accept the Lord's discipline. When God disciplines us, it is for our good and for His glory. Verse 12 says that the reason that we should accept discipline from the Lord is because the Lord disciplines those He loves, as a father the son He delights in. First of all, God corrects us because He loves us. God does not punish or reprimand His children because of anger or to release frustration. As this verse says, He corrects us out of love. He wants us to enjoy the benefits and the blessings of obedience, but He uses temporary discomfort and pain to correct us and to keep us from causing further harm to ourselves and to others. It is true that love is patient, love is kind, and that it keeps no record of wrongs, 1 Corinthians 13, 4 and 5, but a truly loving Father cannot overlook disobedience and ignore actions that lead to harm. In this case, being permissive and soft-handed is not a demonstration of true love. One of Job's friends, who judged him wrongly, seemed to still manage to drop this pearl of wisdom about God. He said, "Blessed is the one whom God corrects, so do not despise the discipline of the Almighty. For He wounds, but He also binds up. He injures, but His hands also heal." God may discipline us, and it might not feel good, but it is for our good. Secondly, God corrects us because we are part of His family. Any good parent will take the time to discipline their child. If they don't, the child will end up out of control and headed for trouble. God does not discipline us like we are a misbehaving student and He does not discipline us like we are a criminal in prison. He disciplines us as we are, His beloved children. It actually brings comfort and assurance for our salvation when God disciplines us, because He only disciplines His children. Hebrews 12 describes how we should think about the discipline God gives us. So let me leave you with these words from Hebrews chapter 12, verse 3 through 13. Consider Him who endured such opposition from sinners, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. In your struggle against sin, you have not yet resisted to the point of shedding your blood. And have you completely forgotten this word of encouragement that addresses you as a father addresses his son? It says, "My son, do not make light of the Lord's discipline, and do not lose heart when He rebukes you, because the Lord disciplines the one He loves, and He chastens everyone He accepts as His son." Endure hardship as discipline. God is treating you as His children. For what children are not disciplined by their father? If you are not disciplined, and everyone undergoes discipline, then you are not legitimate, not true sons and daughters at all. Moreover, we have all had human fathers who disciplined us, and we respected them for it. How much more should we submit to the Father of spirits and live? They disciplined us for a little while as they thought best, but God disciplines us for our good, in order that we may share in His holiness. No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. Therefore, strengthen your feeble arms and weak knees. Make level paths for your feet, so that the lame may not be disabled, but rather healed.